There you go. We should be live now. Okay. Welcome to Maryland Heights Township and Creve Coeur Township Democratic Club's joint meeting. We have a couple of great speakers tonight. Pleased to start this meeting. First, I'd like to introduce, I'm Harvey Ferdman. I'm president of the Maryland Heights Township Democratic Club, and Sydney Jackson is also on, and she's president of the Creve Coeur Democratic Township Club. Sydney, if you want to say hello.
Hi, everyone. Good to see everyone tonight. Like Harvey said, I'm the president and also committee woman of the Creve Coeur Township.
And we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. So I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all for being here tonight, being part of our small d democratic process. It's very important that we all participate as much as we can. So what I'd like to do is first have any elected officials that are with us tonight take a moment and introduce yourselves. I see a few who wants to get started.
Hi, Harvey. It's Representative LaDonna Applebaum. Can you hear me?
Yes, just fine, LaDonna.
Good. I hope you can't do that on purpose. It was one heck of a day in the Capitol.
I've heard something about that so far. Yes. You want to summarize just a little bit?
Well, it was. If you can go back and watch the session, strongly advise it. Our leader, Crystal, did an amazing point of personal privilege on the House floor, and I would say I would start with that. But I wanted to. I know that Representative Banger is going to do a bang-up job talking about what's going on in the Capitol. But I just wanted to keep it brief and get off here because there's just so much going on in Jeff City right now. But I wanted to let everyone in the township know, in Maryland Heights Township, that we do have a new committee man, and his name is Thomas Laughlin. And he sent me some information to talk about him. If I could just real quickly introduce Tom McLaughlin. I do not know if he's on the call, but he's 65 years old. He's single with one son. He's been retired from local 513 operating engineers for 10.5 years. He plays a big role in caring for his elderly mother, which lives about 10 houses away from him. He has a lot of spare time, and he's interested in helping a Democrat. And he said, he's happy to get involved. And I'd like to welcome him to being the new committee man. So, okay. Anyone has any questions? I'm here to answer.
Hearing no questions, thank you, LaDonna.
You guys have a good night.
You too. Other elected officials. Oh, and LaDonna, I assume you are running for re-election?
Oh, yes.
So you're a candidate also. Okay, great.
Yep.
Other elected officials.
Mayor Ella Jones of the City of Ferguson.
Welcome, Mayor Jones.
Good evening, everyone. Councilwoman Nicole Greer from the City of Creve Coeur and also candidate for St. Louis County Council District 2.
Thank you. Other voices, other elected officials?
Mayor Sharon Pace of the City of Northwoods, formerly State Representative of the 74th District.
Yes, welcome, Sharon.
Thank you.
Mayor Pace. Others? Any other elected officials?
Well, I can introduce myself, Harvey. Gretchen Banger,
Yes.
State Representative in the 70th District, previously the 69th for 6 years. I'm also a candidate for the St. Louis County Council in the 2nd District, and I appreciate you letting me come and attend your meeting. So just want to introduce myself. And yes, it was a crazy day at the Capitol. I can definitely piggyback on what LaDonna said. Crazy things going on up here, but you know, our leader, Crystal Craig, did a wonderful job at our press conference today, and several of our members got up and spoke about, you know, gun legislation and some things that we need to do to make this world a safer place. So hopefully some voices were heard, but it's a crazy place up here.
Thank you. And Gretchen's going to do a little bit more detailed report later on tonight. Also, just for clarification, the 2nd county council, I guess it's a district, is currently Kelly Dunaway's seat. So Kelly is not running for re-election, and we have, I believe, the 2 candidates. Is there a 3rd candidate, or is that it? Two candidates so far identified, and they're both on the Zoom tonight.
Yeah, there's two so far. There probably will be more, but there's 2 so far.
Okay, any other elected officials, including Central Committee members, anyone else on the line that would like to introduce themselves? Any candidates on the line that we have not heard from so far?
Yes, hello. I'm Drew Newman, and I'm running for City Council in Creve Coeur, Ward 3. Good to see all of you.
Excellent. Who's the incumbent there now? I'm not familiar with.
Yes,
her name's
Ward 3.
Sari Newdorf.
Thank you. Good to see you tonight. Anyone else?
I have a question about candidates. Does anybody have any idea of who to support for the community college board? Do any of you know about any of the candidates? I don't know about any of them so far. I know their names.
I have not looked at any of their names. I don't know. I'd have to review that. So I don't know if there's new folks or not.
I do
Try to
know
get-
that, is it Clem Smith? Is that correct, Sydney?
Mhm.
He is a former, what did Clem used to do? Was he a state rep?
He was a former state representative, yes, and then he had a role in the party. I'm not sure what his role was, but I know he had a role for a while in the party.
Okay. I was thinking of his role in the party. I was thinking that he might have been a state rep also. So that is the only name on that list that I am familiar with. I would imagine the League of Women Voters. I don't know if anyone from that group is on here. They might have a forum. They usually do.
Yeah,
If not, they do have the I think it's called vote411.org, where they send out those questionnaires and the candidates fill those out and return them. And you can get some information from those. They put that voter's guide out.
yeah, they do. Thank you.
Yes. Hi, my name is Cheryl Gladney. I'm former councilwoman of Breckenridge Hill, and I am a candidate for running for governor of Missouri.
Oh, well, welcome.
Thank you.
We probably should schedule some time for you in a future meeting to
Sure.
give us a little more detail about yourself.
All right.
Okay, any other candidates or elected officials we haven't covered? I'd like to move on to announcements. I know there's at least one. Karen Meyer, and then after announcements, we'll get to our 2 speakers for the evening. So Karen, if
yes.
you would.
Yes, hi everyone. Yeah, I was just, I've been following the Physicians for a National Health Program in Missouri, and I don't know if anyone else is familiar with Dr. Weisbart. He's, the leader of this, and yeah, and they have a meeting in person on this Thursday on the 22nd, at 7 p.m. at the Webster Groves Library. The title is Advocating for Medicare for All in the Time of COVID, and they have a speaker, an author, Lindy Hearn. She's done decades of work in state level health justice movements. So grassroots mobilization and the turn against establishment politics and Medicare for All movement. So sounded like it might be interesting. I'll just put that information in the chat. Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much, Karen.
Thank you.
Any other announcements?
I do have one, Harvey.
Sure.
I just wanted to let everyone know that the St. Louis County Democrats Gala is going to be on Saturday, May 11th. So mark your calendars if that's something that you're interested in attending. And there will be more details to come. I don't think that the pricing and ticket purchase is available quite yet, but save the date.
Thank you. Any other announcements?
This is Nancy Price with the League. The Voters Guide, which we coordinate with the Post Dispatch, so it's always, the schedule's always a little bit squishy, but it should be online on the 11th of March, and then it should be in the newspapers, I think, on the 17th. That's a guesstimate.
Thank you, Nancy. And for all you do, I know you're involved in a lot of stuff. Anyone else? Hearing nobody, we'll move on to our first speaker, John Judy, who's been involved in a lot of local Democratic campaigns and issues, has studied up on the Caucus process that we are now going to go through. And John, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. Yeah, I'm John Judy. I'm committee man for Lafayette Township. I'm also chair of the committee that is planning out our upcoming presidential primary. First thing to know about the primary is that it is going to be a actual primary, not a caucus. So you're going to get a ballot. It's going to be either a mail-in ballot, or on March 23rd, you can come in person to several locations around the county and cast your ballot for who you want to be president coming up in November. As I said, there should be an information mailer that hopefully will be going out shortly. Also, if you are already registered as a Democrat in Missouri, you should also get a ballot mailed to you shortly. I believe the first tranche of ballots was supposed to go out in the last couple days. In order to participate in the primary, you just must be a registered voter and have registered by February 21st. You also have to be registered either as a Democrat or unaffiliated to participate. You cannot be registered as a Republican. Why are we running a primary? The reason the Democrats are running it as a primary is because we want to make sure every Democrat in Missouri can participate. I'm going to be taking questions in just a little bit halfway through this, so I'll get to you guys in the chat and on elsewhere in a bit. The outcome of these primaries is going to help the state party determine how many delegates each presidential candidate is going to be able to get out of Missouri. Why is it being run by the party and not the state and the Board of Elections? Back in 2022, the Missouri Republicans in the legislature used their supermajority to end the Missouri presidential primary. We are the only state that has ever gone from a primary system back to a caucus system. Democrats, like I said, we want to make sure everyone can participate, so the Democrats are spending the extra money to make sure that we can actually participate as a primary. And that's the reason why the party is running it and not the state. They deleted 4 words out of the law and turned the whole process back over to the state parties. The primary election, like I said, it's going to be in person and by mail. You can request a mail-in ballot by March 12th at MissouriDemocrats.org. I'll put a link into the chat after I'm done giving this. Like I said, you don't have to be a registered Democrat, but you must not be registered as a Republican. And then for the in-person side of things, each county is going to have at least one polling location. Most counties are going to have just one. St. Louis and Kansas City are going to have more than one. St. Louis County, we're going to have 3 of them. There's going to be one at the Florissant Municipal Courts. There's going to be one at Local 655 at Manchester and Weidman. And there's also going to be one in South County that we are getting set up right now. To update your voter registration, if you haven't yet, you can mail back, there should have been a card when you got your most recent voter registration card. There should have been a form on the back that you can fill out to mark your party affiliation. You can send it back that way. You can also go to the Secretary of State's website. I've got the link there, and I'll also share it in chat in a little bit. If you're using a mobile device where you can actually sign on the tablet or on your phone, you'll be able to submit your updated registration that way. Otherwise, you'll need to print and mail it in. And you can also go to the local Board of Elections, local DMV, anywhere else that you can update your voter registration right now. Most of these questions have now been answered. Originally, the plan was that the primary was going to be a ranked choice vote. However, the DNC pushed back against that, and now we are just going to do it as a plurality vote, where whoever gets at least 15% of the vote, those are the candidates that will get delegates out of Missouri. Funding for the election has been finalized, and we are able to fund in-person locations. And as I said, most of the locations have been determined. We're still working on a South County location. It's probably going to be at Leona. It might be at a library instead. Okay, so that's the primary part of the process. Let me look at chat, see what questions we've got here. Okay, nothing there. Dale and Dave, what's your question?
Heretofore, we did not register by party. So all of us who've been registered for 100 years are not registered by party because that didn't exist in Missouri. So when did that change, and what do we have to do to register for? Do we have to register for a party?
That did change back with the same election law that started all of this back in 2022. So when they instituted that and when they put in the voter ID and all of those things, they also added the ability to associate yourself with a political party. The way that you update that is through, like I said, just the same way you would do any other update to your voter registration. The Secretary of State's website has a specific link just to update your party affiliation. So he's made that a little bit more streamlined that way. And that's how you would go about doing it. You do not need to update your voter registration to participate in the primary. You will, if you want to be a state delegate, you will need to be affiliated with the Democratic Party to be a state or a national delegate to the state convention and to the national convention. Are there any other questions about the primary? Okay, I will move on to the next step of the whole process, and that's going to be the delegate selection process. So as I was just saying, there are 2 sets of delegates. There are state delegates. These are the people who will be selected at your township and county mass meetings. They are the ones who are going to go to the congressional district convention and the state convention and vote to select who will be the national delegates. And they'll also vote on state party business. The national delegates, these are the ones who are going to be selected at the congressional district meeting and the state convention. They go on to attend the DNC that's going to be in Chicago this year. They are going to be the ones who are casting the votes for the presidential nominee on the floor of the convention. And they will also be casting votes on other national party business. State delegate apportionment, like I said, is going to be based on the results of the primary. Each township or ward or county will be allowed to select a number of state delegates based on how their district voted in the primary. And that's the state party is going to do all the math to tell us how many delegates for each candidate we're going to be sending to the state convention. There are also going to be delegate alternates. These are not these have the same responsibilities as state delegates. However, they will not be able to vote at the conventions. But if a delegate is not able to participate, a alternate will be selected to replace them, and they will be able to vote at that time. Priority for the alternates will be anyone from the same township or county. Otherwise, the closest available will be selected. The township and ward mass meetings are going to be between April 11th and April 18th. Each township is going to be setting their own time. It's going to be somewhere in that week. They are run by the central committee members for the township or county. Participants do not need to be registered as a Democrat. That was a change that was made. But if you want to be selected as a state delegate, you do have to be registered as a Democrat. Also, if you want to be a state delegate, there's going to be a form on the MissouriDemocrats.org website. You'll need to fill that out and submit it by April 11th, which is going to be before the mass meetings. So make sure you fill those out ahead of time. And also, if you want to be a national delegate, you must be elected as a state delegate first. So make sure you attend these township meetings. Harvey, have you guys set a time for when yours is, or Sydney?
I currently have a hold on place for the Dealman Recreation Center on April 18th at 7, because I was confused if it has to be on the 18th or just by the 18th, but I will firm that up once I am sure on those details.
Yeah, it does have to just be by the 18th. The state party said that they should have all the information that we need by April 11th, so that's why there's that window of the 11th to the 18th.
And I assume that that's being done by our committee man and woman. They're responsible for setting that up, which I am neither of those.
Yes, sorry. LaDonna, do you have that?
That would be LaDonna and the new gentleman that was announced tonight.
I think LaDonna had to hop off.
Okay. So we'll get you that information as soon as it's available. And I will work with John to make sure that also gets up on the county party website. To Sue's question, what are the Republicans doing? They're doing a Iowa style caucus on March the 2nd. So they're going to make everyone show up at local high schools or wherever and stand in rooms for a couple hours while they select who their delegates are going to be and who the presidential candidate that's going to win Missouri is. All right, so that's the township caucuses. So at the caucus itself, attendees are going to be split into groups based on who they support for president. Also, and I think both Maryland Heights and Creve Coeur straddle the CD1, CD2 line. If your township does, then you'll also have to further split by delegates for CD1 and CD2 before splitting into groups for presidential candidate. And then each group is going to be given a predetermined number of state convention delegates that they'll have to select to send on to the congressional district meeting and the state convention. The next step in the process is the congressional district convention. That's going to be on May 9th. Each of the congressional districts is going to set up their own separate meeting. Participants are going to be everyone who was selected as a state delegate during the township selection. And then to be elected as a national delegate, there's going to be another form on the MissouriDemocrats.org website that you'll have to fill out and file by April 25th. Again, participants are going to be divided based on the candidates that they're supporting. And during this meeting, each group will select a number of delegates to go to the Democratic National Convention in Chicago. CD1 is going to get 8 candidates or 8 delegates that they'll be able to select, divided between the candidates, and CD2 is going to get 6. Next step in the process is going to be the state convention. That's going to be on June 22nd. It's going to be somewhere in mid-Missouri. The location is not going to be set until May. Usually it's somewhere around like the Jefferson City, Lake Ozark. Last time I think it was in Sedalia, the last time it was in person. Participants here are, again, everyone who was selected as a state delegate during the township caucuses. Whether or not you get elected to be a national delegate during the congressional district meeting, you still participate at the state convention as well. Anyone can attend, but only the elected delegates can vote. And then to be elected as an at-large national delegate, and there are going to be 14 of those and 5 alternates, you must file to run by May 31st. You can also, if you already filed to run at the congressional district convention level and didn't win, that filing will be counted as having filed to run as an at-large delegate as well. Again, at the state convention, you get divided up by the candidate that you're supporting. And delegates, like I said, are going to be voting on 14 at-large national convention delegates and 5 alternates, split up by how the state voted as a whole. Delegates will also vote on other national or other state party business. They're going to be voting on state Democratic Party platform elements. A few years back, my wife helped draft the climate change proposal that we've got in the state party platform now. And so it's really important. There's a lot that you can do at the state level by participating in being a state delegate. You also get to vote for the state Democratic National Committee members. There's going to be 3 of them out of Missouri that we're selecting this year. And you get to vote for electoral college electors. These are the people who, if Missouri goes blue this year, then they will be able to go to the electoral college and cast Missouri's votes for President Biden. However, even though you were selected as an electoral college, if we don't go blue, you don't get to do that. The Democratic National Convention is the next and final step of this whole process. It's going to be in Chicago from August 19th to the 22nd. Participants are everyone who was elected as either the congressional district or the state convention meetings, and anyone can attend the public events. There's so much that goes on during these conventions that it's a lot of fun just going up, even if you're not a voting delegate. There's all sorts of different events. Lots of national and high-profile candidates are going to be throwing events. There's going to be special interest parties, unions, all sorts of people are going to be having luncheons, meetings all throughout the whole week. And then, of course, there's the big nightly broadcast speeches and events that you'll be able to watch on TV if you don't make it up to Chicago. At the nightly events and when casting votes, all the delegates are going to be grouped with their state around the floor. And each state announces their votes as a whole. So you'll have the delegates will select one person to be their spokesperson, and that spokesperson will say how many delegates are voting for which candidates. For more information, there's the MissouriDemocrats.org website. Delegate selection is one of the pages. They've also got more pages up now about the primary. And then the forms to register to be a state or a national delegate are not up and available yet. All right, so I know we've got a whole bunch more questions. Dale and Dave, go ahead.
How does one file to become a candidate for president, and what are the deadlines?
The deadline for that was back in December. The state party had rules on how to do that, so I'm not sure who the candidates are that were selected for that.
No, we don't know who the candidates are yet.
I do not have that list. I don't know if that's been published somewhere.
Okay, well, I assume it has.
Let's see. What other questions do we have?
John, I have a question if you don't have some.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, 2 questions. First is, are there any requirements for specific gender balance or any other balance in who gets selected at the end?
Yeah, there is. We always do have the affirmative action plan. We do want to make sure that we have a 50-50 gender split, or as close as we can to it. Out of the 70 delegates, that's going to be 35 men and 35 women. If you are non-binary, you do not count against either side. So you can still be selected, and we will work to have as equal a balance as we can. And there is also another affirmative action plan for my other minority groups. Those are targets, but those aren't hard and fast rules the way the gender balance split is.
Okay, another question is, I noticed along the way there's a number of different ways to be elected as a delegate. Can you just briefly go through, if you are elected at X level, then you don't need to apply at Y level?
Sure.
Understand my
So
question?
everyone who wants to be a national delegate has to be selected as a state delegate. So that's the first step of that. And then you can be selected as a national delegate at the congressional district level. Like I said, there's going to be 8 out of CD1 and 6 out of CD2. There is going to be a form available on the state party website that you have to have back by, let me see, where did I have that? Here it is, by April 25th. And that's going to be for the congressional district meeting on the 9th. If you are not selected as a national delegate there, you will be counted as having filed to run as an at-large delegate at the state convention. Otherwise, you've got until May 25th hold on, I just scrolled past it. May 31st to file the paperwork to run as an at-large national delegate.
Yeah, but it starts at the township level,
Yes,
right?
at the township level, you have to file to run to be a state delegate and be selected as a state delegate in order to be a national delegate at all.
So the township level selects some delegates.
It selects
Correct.
all of the state delegates.
Okay, and then there's another, and then those delegates have to apply at the state level?
And then those delegates have to apply if they want to run for national delegate.
Okay.
So we have the state delegates that go to the congressional district meeting and the state convention. And then at those, the congressional district and state, we select national delegates that go on to the DNC in Chicago.
Okay, got it.
And then Nancy, yes, you are correct. You do not have to register as a Democrat to participate in the primary. Thank you, Brian, for sharing those links. I answered Sue's. And then Nancy Hirsch, how do we make sure that we get notice on all these dates? I'm sure Harvey and Sydney, when they're sending out updates from the township, they're going to be including these dates in there. Also, you can sign up with the county party with their Mobilize program, and John will make sure that notices go out, and you can sign up to be on the state on the county party's mailing list as well. And there's a mailing that goes out every week that has information about these upcoming dates.
John, there's a question. Are the slides you have going to be available?
Yeah, I'll make sure I send those to you so that you can share them with other people.
Okay.
And also feel free, if anyone has questions after this, feel free to contact me. I'll share my email in the chat so everyone's got that.
Yeah, there's also a Maryland Heights Democratic Township Club YouTube channel that this entire meeting will be posted on. Okay, any other questions, John? If you have any further presentation?
Nope, that was all for me.
Okay, last call for questions for John.
Thank you all
Okay,
so much, and for real, please participate in your mass meetings and sign up to be state delegates. It's an easy process. If it's your first time doing it, there's going to be a lot of us around that are going to be happy to help you guys learn the ropes, learn how it all works, and it's a great way to get involved in the party.
Thank you. Thank you very much, John. That's appreciated. Our next presenter is State Representative Gretchen Bangert, who's going to talk about the choice petition that's going around, and also what's happening in Jeff City in general, and specifically what is happening with trying to make the initiative petition, which is the voters expressing their rights directly at the ballot box for a particular issue, making that process virtually impossible. Hopefully that is being blocked by the rest of our wonderful Democratic delegation in the Missouri legislation. Gretchen?
Thanks, Harvey. I appreciate that. And John, another great presentation on that whole process that is new to all of us. So I appreciate you filling everybody in on that again. And I learned a little bit more after listening to the second presentation that I've heard. So I do I know there was a portion of the meeting where you could make an announcement, and I'm sure everyone knows, but I do want to make an announcement that the mayor of Bridgeton passed away last Wednesday unexpectedly, Mayor Terry Briggs. Very sad, and I just hope everyone can say a few prayers for their friends and family. Tough times for them, and a huge loss for our area. He was very active, as Harvey knows, with the radioactive waste issues in Bridgeton. Huge supporter of infrastructure and just a great guy. He was up here at least once a week advocating for the good of the people. I mean, he just was a wonderful person. He's going to be greatly missed. Great Democrat that we lost. So I just wanted to express that. Now I'll move into a couple of the things that I am here to talk about. The first thing, I'll update you a little bit about what's going on here in Jefferson City. As LaDonna mentioned, and I did too, we had a press conference earlier today addressing issues that took place last week in Kansas City, the shooting, and highlighting some of the legislation that we have introduced year after year after year. The Democrats, things have not been referred to committee, no discussion. Don't know if anything will change. I know that they did say that the bill dealing with firearms on public transportation will not be heard this year, as well as a few other bills. So that's good. At least they're stopping that. But we're all going to be introducing an HJR, which is a House resolution tomorrow morning, that basically is saying, let municipalities, let counties make their own decisions on the gun laws that they need for their areas. Everyone's not totally against guns. Even our leader, Crystal Quaid, grew up in a house with guns, but they were managed, put away. People were trained how to use them. I mean, we just need to have some common sense laws. So that's something that we're dealing with right now up here. Some bills have been referred to committee, dealing with other issues for Democrats. They've had some hearings, which is good news. Nothing's really on the House floor right now. We've only listened to just a few bills as things are moving very, very slow. As I'm talking right now, I have my computer on for the Senate, listening to the Senate. You can't view them, but you can listen to them. And they have been spending all day filibustering the IP process. The Democrats are, and they will continue to do that. We will not wear out. We will continue to filibuster that. And basically the bill that they're filibustering right now is Mary Elizabeth Coleman's bill. And that's dealing with our initiative petition process. And basically what they want to do is say, instead of just having a simple majority throughout our state for an initiative petition that we would bring forward, we would now have to have a majority throughout the state and a majority in 5 of the 8 congressional districts, which is going to be almost impossible because a lot of those congressional districts are in rural areas with not a lot of voters and a lot of folks that for some reason have gone crazy the last 50 or 60 years. So we will have a very difficult time trying to pass anything if this initiative petition bill is passed through the Senate, and it will definitely pass through the House if it goes through the Senate because we're in a super minority. There's no way that we can stop it. And if that does pass, then that will go to a vote of the people to change our initiative petition process. They would like to have that on the August ballot, because if they get it on an August ballot and they win, then our abortion issue, they would probably put off to the November ballot, which would make it much more difficult for us to pass that petition for the abortion. So that's kind of their plans. They're sneaky, They are smart. I have to say they're smart and sneaky, but that's their overall goal. So that's what they're working on. We've had some bills go through our elections committee here at the House. They are not on the floor dealing with kind of the same issue. There is one bill that we will hear tomorrow on the House floor. It's Representative Hafner's bill. And basically that involves the collection of signatures for initiative petitions, saying that you have to be a Missouri resident, you have to live in a certain area, a certain amount of days, you can't be someone that, you know, is an immigrant that came in, you have to have lived here for 10 years. It just basically puts a lot of hassles into the collection of signatures for initiative petitions. So we'll have great debate on that, I'm sure, tomorrow. It'll just be heard tomorrow. So when we go to third read, unfortunately, we are in the super minority, so we will cast our votes and we will lose. So the only thing we can do is fight, which is what we're trying to do, or try to put amendments on some of these things to try to make them at least a little bit more bearable, but it's not a good situation. So I don't know if there's any questions with that, kind of where we are with the process. God love our senators, holding stuff up over there. And, you know, there's rumors that there's nothing's going to take place until budget comes out, and hopefully they'll stop stuff and then do the budget, and then they'll go back to the IP process. But we're, you know, our senators are willing to work until the end of session to not have this go through. So that means everything else that we need to get done, you know, even some things that are just technical things that need to be taken care of, will not take place either, which is very, very frustrating. So, but that's kind of where we are with that whole process. Don't know if there's any questions. If they're not, I'll go into the abortion petition that we're working on right now. So that's very exciting news on that front. I actually have some signature petitions at my house and had some young folks over for Super Bowl, and these young women and men were so excited to sign it. So that's good news. I think overall throughout our state, people are very excited to be able to have their voice heard on this subject, because their voice was taken away in a not so right manner. So thankfully we do have our IP process with that. There were 2 petitions that were being circulated. One was for 12 weeks, up to 12 weeks you could have an abortion. The other one is for viability. So if the baby is viable or not viable, I should say, you can have an abortion up to that point, as well as if there's risk to the woman as far as death, or, you know, or the baby is going to be dead, etc. So basically it's the Roe decision was what we would go back to here in our state. The first petition at the 12 weeks has died, basically, I'll say a week and a half ago. They withdrew that. So that is no longer being having signatures collected with it. So we're just working with this one petition right now. And I saw somebody pulled up, viability means that the baby will survive. So the baby, if the baby can survive, it cannot be aborted. So you want that baby to be able to survive. And I don't have the exact legal definition. I'm sure somebody has an iPhone that can plug in viability while I continue to talk. So that's a petition that we're working on. Basically, we need to collect 6,000 signatures a day, because we only have 78 days to have this turned in. So 6,000 signatures a day is a lot. So we have a lot of people out there working. It's been well funded, which is very, very good to hear. So they're feeling very confident that we'll be able to get this done, because we do have the funding behind it to have folks out collecting the signatures. Some places where you can go to, you know, maybe sign it would be the post office. They said there's people standing outside the post office, the libraries, public places like that. When you go to a private place like Walmart or Sam's or something like that, you know, then you're kind of on private property. So you'll see people kind of snaking through in parking lots and stuff like that. So don't be scared if you see somebody with a clipboard coming towards you. They just probably want your signature for that. So that's where we are. They're looking at turning in the signatures at the end of April, because they'll have to go through all the signatures, but the actual deadline is May 5th. So it's exciting news on that front. I hope we get the signatures. I hope the IP process doesn't go through and we can have a vote on this, and the people in Missouri can have their voice heard. And unfortunately, in our state, that's the only way we have our voice heard, with right to work and, you know, Medicaid expansion, the marijuana issue, all of it. It's all been done by initiative petition process. So we really have to protect that. So I know I talk real fast and say a lot. So if anybody has any questions, I'm more than willing to take those. Has anyone had a chance to sign any of the petitions? I know I have. So that's great. that's great to see. And I don't know if has anybody seen folks out collecting signatures at all?
Yep. Yeah, I
Oh, good.
I have,
from that first
I
day.
have,
Do you have any kind of account at this point?
I do not. I know that I've heard that the things are going very well, is what I've heard. So to me, that means we must be doing good, but I don't know. I don't have an actual count. And I don't know if anybody's kind of keeping that tabulated or not, because I know there's so many petitions out, so many places. And, they do have some stipulations. You have to be trained in order to get the signatures. It's not a lot of training, but there is some training involved with it. So they've had a lot of people attend the trainings.
yes, and oh, go ahead.
Is there any door to door? I was wondering about walking door to door with a petition.
You can go door to door as long as you're trained. So I know the National Women's Political Caucus is doing some training. I'm not sure about any other organizations. I know there's some out there. I just don't have them at the tip of my tongue. Someone else on this call may have them.
Thank you.
Yeah, the Missouri, oh shoot, now I forget what it's called. The Missouri.
That's probably the one I was thinking of too.
Missourians for Constitutional Freedom. They're the ones that have been training a lot of people, I think. And yeah, I went door to door in my neighborhood today and did, I thought, really well. Some people of course don't answer the door, but I only had like 2 turn downs. So that was
that's wonderful,
encouraging. And they're asking us to turn them in like once a week. You have to go to a special place and get them notarized. I mean, a couple of locations, but anyway, if anybody's interested, it's the training is like, I think it was an hour and a half, really good training. So.
And I like it that you added that point. They are trying to have them collected like every week and a week and a half, so that they're not bombarded with everything. And maybe they're trying to keep that count, like this other woman was asking. So maybe there's a count someplace, which would be
right. And where they're gathering, being gathered, and where else they may need to go, probably, and that kind of thing. So,
yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Thank you.
I say something. Wait for somebody to call. I also am collecting signatures, and I did the training. National Council of Jewish Women, League of Women Voters, Access Missouri, the Democratic Party are all out there collecting signatures. I put my email, since you all are obviously this area. I put my email address into the chat if anybody wants to message me about meeting up to sign a petition. Thanks.
That's great. And I must say, you guys have a great turnout for your meetings. This was wonderful. So many folks on here.
Any other questions for Gretchen or comments in general about either of the processes? Gretchen, anything else you want to report about what's going on in the legislature?
Not much. Things are moving pretty slowly, just because of the whole IP process in the Senate. So just moving much slower this year. We have our, LaDonna is actually part of this group, our women legislators in Missouri. We do a auction every year and provide scholarships for 20 young women who are in high school going into college. And we award $21,000 scholarships. So if any of you all know anybody that's a high school senior that's going to be going to college, reach out to either myself or LaDonna. We can get you the information so they can sign up for one of the scholarships. And we award 2 from each congressional district. And then we have 4 just at-large scholarships. But it does bring both the Democrats and Republicans together, which is important. The women seem to work together a little bit better than the men, but we do have some of our men come along as well. And our goal is to raise as much money as we can to go back and support our young women that are entering college. So LaDonna's been helpful with that. And, you know, if you have any questions throughout the process this year, please feel free to reach out to myself and Harvey. I'll get you my contact information, or LaDonna. And LaDonna and I sit right in front of and behind each other on the House floor. So we have a good time, and she's a sweetie. So anyway, if you have any questions at any time, please feel free to reach out. And I appreciate the opportunity to come and update you on what's going on. And it's great that you all are so active.
Thank you. Thank you very much for reporting tonight and for all the work you've done and sure we'll be doing over the years. So with that, let's see, we have, it's 11:52. We usually go till around 8:30. I have no problem ending the meeting earlier. However, if anyone has any topics they want to bring up or anything you'd like to have a group discussion about, by all means, now would be a good time. I don't hear a whole lot. Okay. Well, with that, I want to thank everyone for attending this evening. Sydney, any closing remarks?
Nope, nothing from me.
We covered everything we wanted to cover this evening, so thank you, everybody. See you next month. Enjoy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Good night, everyone.